Today's earnings report was a mixed bag, and many analysts are now worried that it will pour cold water on the V-bottom narrative that has had markets feeling bullish since May. Mega cap tech companies saw a sharp pullback for a second day in a row after traders chose to take profit on frothy 40% gains in a matter of months. The S&P 500 does seem to be swinging in either direction today as analysts weigh earnings season reports against unsettling COVID case data. One way or the other, Bitcoin is going to follow along. Find out in today's episode of Breaking Bitcoin.
Hi, my name is Jude Nelson. I'm an engineering partner at Blockstack, and you're watching Breaking Bitcoin.
All right, you guys tell me, is my camera blurry? Is my camera blurry? Let's lean back to where I'm not blurry. All right, welcome back to Breaking Bitcoin. This is your daily source for everything markets and personal finance. Hopefully, everyone is doing fantastic today, wherever you happen to be and however you happen to be tuning into us this afternoon. We've got so much to talk about. Before we begin, Kraken Cryptocurrency is proud to host the fastest growing online community of traders and investors. To stay up to date, make sure to join our Discord server at discord.krakencryptocurrency.com. That's discord.krakencryptocurrency.com. All right, so we're going to be talking about the latest Glassnode reports. We're going to be looking at historical volatility and kind of its resultant effect on the markets. Obviously, we have looked at many data metrics over the last few weeks. And one thing that I have been keen to point out in particularly the last week is the falling average true range, the falling volatility, and the falling volume as we progress, as we continue to move along in this consolidation range. And here's all I can say, because I know a lot of individuals watching this are traders, and I do understand that trading cryptocurrency tends to do something to your patience meter. You know, you trade cryptocurrency for a while, and it's just very difficult. And this is generally novice trader difficulty, right? This is why we generally recommend, and this is why the Pathways to Profit course emphasizes that novice traders or newer traders who do not have a consistent track record of profitability not focus on short-term price fluctuations, because one could, although they are not, one could ultimately call them noise and random and still profit out of the market. Focusing on the weekly charts for your long-term analysis, looking at long-term trends, focusing on the daily charts for your actual entries, looking at daily price movements. Really, these are the best way to trade. This is generally how professionals trade. This is how I trade. And while there are profits to be made and opportunities to be had on lower timeframes, the discipline, the risk management, and the self-control that is required to profitably do so consistently for a decent amount of time, I don't think naturally comes to many individuals, particularly something like cryptocurrency. So let me just state this as a plea. Bitcoin has not broken out of its range. It's still exactly where it was yesterday, for the most part, with a slight difference, right? One different number here, one different number there. And people are looking at every peak and valley as if it's deterministic. It's not, guys. It's not. You know, the fact that Bitcoin rated liquidity, the fact that Bitcoin is, the fact that Bitcoin turned around in direction, none of this is deterministic to the longer term trend. The only way to figure that out is to do your own analysis on the higher time frames and determine what phase of the market cycle you believe we're in. Are we in reaccumulation after a markup phase following a capitulation event? And that means we are going to break to the upside and have more of a bullish trend. Or are we in distribution following 100% plus gains on the back of a capitulation event that is yet to actually hit the market or will hit the market for the second time? That's ultimately what it comes down to. And then you need to trade based on your fundamental bias, right? Otherwise, you're going to be trading against yourself. All right, so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about volatility and its effect on market cycles. I will say this. I have not felt this agitation in the Bitcoin markets from the Bitcoin traders since October, November of 2018. You guys remember what happened in November of 2018? The market meltdown. All right, so we've got a lot to talk about. Let's get into the charts. I want to look at a whole lot, give you guys an update on the Online Trading Academy. It is progressing along very nicely. The modules that will be going online today and tomorrow are going to be the modules concerning selecting what markets to trade, how to objectively select what markets to trade, how many markets should you trade with the Pathways to Profit system, what quote pairs should you trade, how should you handle your trading capital? Should you keep it in Bitcoin? Should you keep it in USDT? And, what things do you need to know? What practices do you need to have? What habits do you need to have to make that conducive? The module on how to take continuation trades and the different types of continuation trades there are, reversals within the trend and momentum continuations, fail-safe exits, what we commonly refer to as early exits, and how to select between using the indicators that are already in your strategy or selecting another indicator just for that purpose, and how to backtest all of that and how to have that confluent with your system. How to forward test your system, so how to trade your system live with live capital, or how to demo trade. We've got some different ways to do that. What statistics you really want? How far back should you backtest when you're looking at the markets you should trade? How long should you forward test? What capital should you use with forward testing? We break down the daily scan in greater detail and get into exactly how we do that, as well as the recommendations and kind of the plan that we've developed for individuals that are not, in the United States, for example, or in a time zone where they can conveniently or realistically trade the universal standard time close, the UTC close, which cryptocurrency exchanges close on. So we talk about all that in the new online trading academy. Again, Pathways to Profit will be the first course that to go online for the online trading academy. Then the courses that will quickly follow are going to be our courses on building strategy testers in Pine and algorithmic backtesting. I'm going to have a course on 3 commas. There's going to be a course on margin trading, risk management 101, 201, and 301, position sizing, as well as emotional discipline and investment psychology, all of which we have material for, but it just will be put onto the online trading academy and be, it's just a much better platform to actually teach than the way that we're currently doing it. Not that we are not proud of what we're currently doing now. We've helped hundreds of individuals over the last 3 years build profitable trading systems. But I'm just really proud of the format that we're able to bring via the website. So proud to launch that. It's going to be going live on Monday. I promise this time for sure, guys. And and then once that kind of process is complete, I will be focusing more on our automated strategy solutions. So there are a lot of automated systems that we want to get online and push live that we're currently forward testing. The results look good, and we're eager to kind of get those out to market. All right, that's about it, guys. If you guys have any questions as we progress through the live stream, make sure to drop them in the live chat. Don't be afraid. I don't bite, neither do the moderators. And if you guys enjoy the content, highly appreciate it if you slap a like on today's video. A subscription does help the channel out. And if you do subscribe, you're going to have to turn on all notifications. Otherwise, it's just not going to work, right? I cannot accept your subscription if you do not turn on all notifications. Of course, if you're watching on Twitch or DLive, don't want to be left out in the cold. I'm going to shower you DLivians with some lemons over there in a second. You guys can support us with a follow or sub if you so like over there. All right, guys, let's get on with the show. Ooh, okay. Camera switch. All right. So how is everybody in the chat? So guys, how we doing? I don't know what's up with that doc. There's just something wrong with the restream doc in OBS. It means I need to pop out the chat from YouTube. Pop out. There we go. All right. First thing I see is Jake Rezio coming fast with the $5 super chat. He asks, can I take a look at Link, my friend? Absolutely, my friend. Let me take a look at Link in just a moment. All right. What else do we got? Thomas Buntinks. What's going on, my friend? Jose Canetta, Peckham08, Ray McCord, Midwest Attempts, Challenged Investor, Moonshine Fuel, Crypto Jack, Mr. Unicorn, Mr. Ether, Damian Hughes, Caprica, and B-Flow in the house. All right, good to see you guys. Hopefully you're doing well. Well, let's just start off with that request and get right into Link then. But the man is hungry for some Link. All right. So yesterday I had called for a short on Link. Unfortunately I didn't get filled. It was the early morning and I was putting on my trades. I was kind of this is just it's a good example of having a little bit too much going on at once, but ultimately I'm not too concerned with it. But I did absolutely, let's just say it, I did absolutely nail it. I'm very proud of that. And it's good because I know that a lot of individuals were short with Alex's trading signal. Obviously, Alex absolutely nailed this link long, basically catching almost the vast majority of this last trend to the upside. But anyways, I called for the short, didn't actually get filled because I set a limit order that was too high. I didn't actually get filled on my link perp, and I had placed that limit order on the FTX platform. Anyways, so my initial thoughts for this short, because another premium member asked last night, my thoughts are still roughly the same. Overall, so this will help if I kind of start off with my overall thoughts about the market. So I posted on Twitter last night, and have been pretty consistent in my thoughts with the premium members in my premium analysis this morning, that I'm not interested in taking positions in the market. Now, that means I am going to miss out on some gains if things do move rapidly, but my main priority this week is A, getting the Online Trading Academy live, and B, really taking a step back and letting the market work itself out. Now, the S&P obviously began, the traditional markets opened up today by gapping down and looking like they were going to collapse. However, it was pretty evident after a few minutes that they were largely faking out. But again, that is yet to be seen. So let's look at USO, for example. This is an active trade that I'm in. We can see the market as it opened up. Let's just see here. First candle. Yeah. So market initially, this is the 15-minute bar. The market initially gapping down quite a bit and then just rallying. Very nice rally up here in USO. Still not hitting my first take profit, though. This is probably a good opportunity if I was very, very low time frame. And let's look at the ES minis here. Again, ES minis consolidating here at the bottom, rallying back up into distribution and selling off. So we have falling volume. We still do not know yet if we are actually going to break to the downside. I have to assume that we are, because that's my original bias. That was my original thought. I said it yesterday. Individuals were extremely bullish yesterday on Monday's market open. And I said, it feels too frothy. It feels too bullish. I feel like I cannot be the only person that does not comment on the fact that we are seeing news story after news story about hairdressers closing shop at noon and day trading stocks because they're making so much money. So this is unsustainable. And Bait says, crypto, the only place where man gets filled by whale doesn't lead to the FBI seizing your hard drives. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. Anyways, so the crypto markets, not particularly Bitcoin. I know a lot of individuals flip long this morning. That's absolutely fine. I still have my short open. I already hit my first take profit on my BTC USD short that I put on yesterday morning. So my stop loss is at break even. My Ethereum USD short, I've hit my first two take profits, so my stop loss is at break even. And I am short on VeChain, Cardano, and looking for a re-entry on Link. So I am actually of a mind to short Link. Now I know that is going to be in, maybe that's a very controversial thing to say. I don't think it's a controversial thing to say. As I said earlier, like the markets haven't made a massive movement, and I'm gonna get tired. Well, individuals are gonna get tired of just overreacting to every single bip and bob in the market. My long-term view is that over the next, let's say, 3 to 6 months, Bitcoin does trade higher than the price where it's currently at. But in the next 30 to 60 days, it does seem more likely that it's going to pull down. Again, it all depends on what the SPY does. And again, the SPY is looking quite the same. So as that is the case. But specific to Link, my original target for the short was actually 660. But I would not be surprised to see a retrace here to 580 to about $5. So this is the entry zone where I'm interested in Link. Again, this is the previous consolidation zone. This was reaccumulation before markup. We've seen a decent sell move down here. Again, nice volume spikes here. We're on the 1 hour chart for Link. So again, nice volume spikes. CM Williams, VIX Fix, identifying this local bottom. Minx as well, putting in a bit of a double bottom here. So no real divergence or anything. So again, a potential here for a trading opportunity. We have now retraced back to the initiation of selling point here on Link USDT. My original, my limit order for Link is still open. So I would actually be tickled pink if price went up here and swept and filled my order. I'm not interested in going long on Link. Obviously, there was a good opportunity here that a trader could have taken advantage of. But I think Alex is right. And I think my initial bias is right when looking for an opportunity to short Link in the meso term frame. So my original kind of idea for Link as well was a retrace down to about 580. and then a bounce back up to about $7, and then we kind of go from there. So far right now, I will say this. If I were to step into the market with no other bias, without looking at any other market, without looking at any other chart, and I saw this, this would certainly be a chart to trade intraday. This is an intraday chart. There is a ton of volume here on Link. So let's see if we can't find some opportunities. Yeah, I think this makes sense. I think it makes sense to look for a short entry around here. If I were focused on intraday trading, this is what I might be doing. I have my limit order still for Link, so I'm just going to let that sit on FTX. Hopefully get filled on Link Perp. I have a 10% stop loss. Let's do it. And then we have this high at about 848. You know, I'm not going to discount Link. So if we do end up, if 4chan decides we want to take Link to $12, let's take Link to $12. But let's talk after we have clearly gotten over this area, which is not going to happen. It's not going to happen right now. I would very much be surprised if Link continues to rally here with no consolidation. I won't quit my job, but I would be surprised. So I would like to see Link come down to about $6. And then there's a trade opportunity there, a bounce to the $7 area. But I do think the opportunity here is to take Link to the downside here. That is exactly my thoughts with ADA USDT, which has come back into my entry. And VeChain, which has not seen the same bullish activity. So again, still have pretty good short entry on VeChain, Ethereum, and BTC as well. So hold on just a second. Go over here to my long-term analysis too, because I do want to. It's a good opportunity to discuss Link on the week. And Link is a pretty textbook example of a huge range and breakout so far. So do a few things, mark off my significant levels. So that's about all we got. All right. So Link traded in this range between $4.50 and $1.50 from 2019 to pretty much just now, right? Tested support twice, made a double bottom here. I would argue that both of these, that this is, I mean, there's a couple different ways to interpret this. This certainly looks like an Eve bottom to me, not an Eve Atom. Either way, you can trade them the same. We did have this, we have, of course, have the March meltdown right here. So here's the March meltdown candle. And we do actually get a opportunity, another buying opportunity right back in that same accumulation zone of around $1.50 to $2 that Link has been trading in for quite a while. We came back up. I want you guys to notice this. I've pointed this out many times. We've tested resistance once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, you can argue, but let's just say once, twice. We are coming up for our 3rd test of resistance, and look at what volume is doing. Volume is falling as we are approaching resistance on low volatility, not big candles. So when we approach support and resistance, if we approach support and resistance on low volume and low momentum, i.e. low volatility, although they're different, the probability that we are going to just cut right through that support or resistance level is very, very high. When you have a massive candle down to support or resistance, then it's very likely to bounce. And there are many reasons for this. The main reason, or excuse me, one reason we could interpret is that when you have low volume and low momentum, it indicates that there is not a huge euphoric rush that is pushing this price up. It is steady, consistent purchasing power or selling pressure, which means the market is primed when it does reach a decision point to be very sensitive to that euphoric rush of retail investors and buyers, right? Or a market maker pushing the price up, which again incentivizes individuals to come in and buy. And I think that's very true in the case of Link here. Link, although very popular, not a lot of actual individuals that I talked to actually held this coin. Most people that I talk to who have Link have bought it relatively recently, within the last month or so. And that's very convenient as we were coming up to a decision point. So the market was very primed for retail buyers here in this particular situation. And remember, individuals that accumulated Link need retail buyers who want to come in and aggressively market buy at these prices so that they can sell without slippage or sell at a good price. The second reason, and I think probably the most important reason, is that for price to move up, you're going to have consistent selling pressure in any market. There's always going to be sellers. There's always going to be buyers. Until at one moment where that force that pivots. Okay, so if there are more sellers than buyers, then prices are going to move down until you reach a point where sellers are exhausted. They do not desire to sell any longer, or they are unable to sell any longer. At that point in time, there's really nothing to stop the buyers from pushing price up. Sellers cannot push price down anymore, and price moves up. So it is when sellers are exhausted in the marketplace, the price tends to reverse and move up. And when you move upwards on low volume and momentum, you are not exhausting. So for example, this is what I mean. This movement upwards between April of 2020 and June 2020, when we broke out with this huge 54% weekly candle, there was not an exhaustion of buyers, right? Because the volume is actually falling. So the quantity of link that is actually trading hands is diminishing, but price is steadily going up. So the buyers are clearly in control of the market. They are stronger than the sellers, but because they're not, blowing their top off in one big massive market buy, they're just steadily pushing price up. There is plenty of, they have plenty of capital in reserve to continue to buy link. When you have a big candle, for example, like this sell candle on Link is a great example right here, this weekly candle. This is a massive 48% movement to the downside. I mean, everybody and their mother who had Link sold Link here. And that means that when this candle was concluded, there were no more sellers, right? You can see that we have a weekly doji, which indicates market equilibrium. So sellers and buyers were of equal strength, but it didn't take long, just a couple weeks, and the sellers were all out of Link or desire to sell Link, and price moved up because the sellers were exhausted. So this is, I think, an important psychological reason, but also an order flow reason why when you approach support or resistance, or really any significant level on high volume and high momentum, that is often a good reversal opportunity because the likelihood that the dominant force in the market is close to being exhausted is high. Dominic Pierre Marini says Link is going to be $12, 20 to 50 end of year. Well, I hope so. All right, so that's about all I have for that. Bitcoin. Nothing. There are no new developments, guys. There are no new developments. And let me tell you why. Because this is what Bitcoin has done since the last time we talked. It has sold off to the bottom of this range. Actually, I think this occurred. Yeah, this occurred while we were talking. So I was short. We were short for this. I drew this channel, drew this ascending channel just for fun. Don't take it too seriously. Drew this ascending channel for fun. Price broke to the downside. Did complete the measured move of this ascending channel, actually. And then put in this big liquidation wick right here on high volume. Wiped out a ton of longs. And one interesting thing, and I'll point it out again, this is not my primary method of analysis, but I'll just point it out because the guys were talking about this in the members lounge this morning. If I were to try my hand at Bennett's LRA, what I would say is, let's go back to when that started, which was right about here. So here's where we have that big down movement in the market. We do see, again, open interest falling right here, indicating liquidations. So a lot of shorts got trapped here. This is shorts getting liquidated. We do see global longs and short accounts falling at this point in time, generally indicating that retail traders are putting on shorts. And top traders, again, same thing. This is the 1 minute chart. So during this time period, we do see that top traders getting long, but they're not doing that any longer. This is why I didn't consider this significant when I saw it this morning, and I still don't consider it significant now. This is not my primary method of analysis, but what this does say to me is that, let's zoom out here a little bit. All right, retail traders were getting long pretty much as price was moving down, which is generally rare. Right here, we can see top traders getting short, and it seems like they take a lot of profit because you can see the rebound. You can see top traders getting short right here on this movement preparing. And then you have a big movement to the downside. And what do? They take profit almost immediately. And we have this collapse of open interest, which is longs getting liquidated, which is the retail traders, and the top traders taking profit. The top traders did get long here, but they are now exiting, closing those positions out, it does seem. So very undeterministic. And I do not think that, again, I don't think that this is deterministic of Bitcoin's price. What occurs on the daily time frame is deterministic. We don't have any signals. The signal is still the same. I think the best possible trade that we have, the best risk to reward trade that we have in the short term right now, so looking forward into the next week, is going to be taking a short trade on BTC-USD. That's the trade that I'm currently in. I'm also short on FUSD as well. I'll let you guys know if that changes. And if it does change, it'll change on the daily time frame. There are scalping opportunities. There are good opportunities on the lower time frames. But again, like I said, and I really did mean that, seeing where Bitcoin dominance is right now, which is something to pay attention to. Here's Bitcoin dominance. All right, Bitcoin dominance extremely oversold at support. Now, again, it is possible that we slice through here. I doubt it. I do doubt that we make it through here without at least a token bounce, which means that alts have a probability to continue to be punished. And I think the opportunity lies in being patient, not being aggressive, and waiting for some better pullbacks, right? There are so for example, if there are coins that you are interested in accumulating or acquiring, I'll give you guys a good example here. MCO USDT. Who doesn't want MCO USDT? All right, here we are. MCO USDT is at a very interesting price point. I recently purchased some MCO at about $4. I think it was like $4.10 was my entry into that. And I bought enough for the not the card I wanted. Let's say the second tier card that I wanted. Now, I'm going to wait until price comes down to $3.50. And I'm going to purchase some more there. And then I'm going to wait for price to come down to $3. I'll purchase some more there. And God forbid, if price gets down to $2, I'm going to get that Obsidian card. You watch. On the weekly time frame, again, I cannot express this enough. How the major alts do seem to are setting up for some massive movements. All of our favorites, Litecoin, Zcash, of course, has the halving event coming up in November and is performing nicely. Again, I'm always wary of breakouts. I do not like being a breakout trader. But just about all of the majors, from Decred to Dash to Bitcoin Cash, it's okay if we discredit Bitcoin Cash, but Zen and Neo Rep, they are all. There's not a word for it besides accumulation. There's really not a word for it. So weekly time frame analysis, focusing on the big movers, instead of chasing the things that are already in through their cycle, right? So I'm going to be a hater. Yep. I am going to give me just a second, guys, because I'm a man of my word. I said I would do it if we got back up here. And we're back up here. Give me a moment here. There we go. $0.11806 and 0.13. All right, so I am setting a market sell order on ADA Perp. So if the whales are out there and they want to wreck me, they don't. That's fine. So I'm going to add to my ADA Perp short. Back here at my entry. Okay, that's done. And if this is justified at this point in time. I feel like I'm a little early, but I'm going to take it. Let's do 660. I don't miss it. All right. All right. So there we go. Done. Shorted link. Shorted Cardano. I will post if premium members are watching right now. I'm gonna post the trade here in a bit. I don't have it's kind of a thing to put it to the forum, but I am going to post an announcement in the Discord. All right, so sorry for that. I know, I said. Man said he wasn't going to trade. And sees a few charts. Wants to trade. Anyways. Jake Rezio, let's do it, brother. Am I short on Atom? No. Back the truck up if MCO reaches $2. Is Crow tradable given the staking and use for the syndicate? I'm pretty sure. You know what? I'm not going to lie. I've never traded Crow, but I'm pretty sure it's a tradable asset on Binance. Well, you can trade it on OKEX, Huobi, Bittrex, HitBTC, and KuCoin, but not Binance, apparently. They're too cool for Crow. Okay, cool. All right, so this is falling off the rails quick. No, it's fine. Okay, so it's today's headlines. Comment shout out. Trade of the day. Trade of the day. Palladium and N50 USD. Yeah, let's look at those. So let's break down. So over here on the purple list. Nope, sorry, not the purple list. The blue list are recently closed trades that I would like to highlight. So one CFD trade that we recently closed for the trade was the IN50 USD CFD. So this is a contract for difference that tracks India's indice, the India 50 indice. And this is tradable on Oanda as a contract for difference. This is not tradable by Americans unless you know how to trade CFDs as Americans. And there are avenues out there to do that. And the answer is not a VPN. Anyways, so we utilize the Donchian system for this particular trade. As we can see here, the Donchian was bullish, indicating that we can take long trades, that we should be biased to the long side. Our confirmer, let's see, we entered this trade on July 1st. So here is our entry. We entered on July 1st. And we can see on this candle, the time transformation gives a line cross initiation, at which point we can see that True Strength Index is confirming the trade. Dynamic money flow confirms, and as does the baseline. So we are good to go. We take that trade with the regular metrics. TP1 was hit, and then time transformation gives a nice exit signal right here yesterday on yesterday's close, and a little bit of follow through of bearish action. Now I'd still be watching IN50 for continuation, but again, being relatively conservative to the long side until Thursday. Boris Bitcoin says, hey, Justin, could you explain how collateral works on FTX? When you deposit Bitcoin, do you then convert to USD to trade the other perpetual features on FTX? So again, I'm relatively new to FTX, but I did read every single piece of paper, well, digital paper, in their FAQ. So the way that I understand it, the way that it seems to be working for me, is any collateral that you deposit to FTX is considered to also be USD for their futures contracts, right? So they have, FTX has spot markets where you actually have to have the underlying to trade and you cannot use margin. And then they have the futures markets. So let's just say that you deposit 1,000 USDT to FTX. Well, you have 1,000 USDT and you can trade, I don't think they don't have the USD market there, but you can purchase anything on their spot market. So you can use that USDT to actually buy the underlying asset, KNC, Link, Doge, whatever you want, BTC, ETH. So you can actually purchase underlying assets there. You can use your collateral for that or whatever base pair you want, as long as it's the correct market, right? So you can't buy, you can't directly exchange Doge for ETH. You would have to exchange Doge into Tether or USD and then purchase it. So with the futures markets, though, that's all synthetic, right? It's all considered USD. So if you have 1,000 USDT, that's going to be considered 1,000 USD. If you have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, that is also considered to be $1,000 worth of USD. So if you deposited, let's assume that Bitcoin is $10,000 per Bitcoin. That means 0.1 BTC would be $1,000. So if you deposited 1,000 USDT and 0.1 BTC, you would have on FTX 0.1 BTC, 1,000 USDT, and 2,000 USD to trade the futures contracts. So I quite like the way that they do that. Your collateral adjusts dynamically. Of course, this does mean you need to be careful if you have, for example, cryptocurrency as the basis of your margin. And that particular, say you have a very large USD position size open, and then all of a sudden that market tanks and that USD value is decreasing very rapidly. That means your liquidation, that means your actual quantity of margin is drying up quickly. You need to be careful, as always, with margin trading. Der Student says, your Donchian looks quite different from a plain 26 Donchian. That's because it is not. It is a Donchian V2. So this is a different Donchian algo. All right, let's see here. So we talked about Bitcoin dominance. We talked about Bitcoin. Everything is the same. Nothing to really get into here too much. Let's take a look at Ethereum. As the markets begin to move up, as does Ethereum. But again, let's just stick to the big picture here. No conclusive signal on the daily yet. Our confirmer and our volatility filter, our vol filter in this case, are still hinting at bullish trades, as is our baseline. If ETH should close below 234.19, then that would invalidate that and push us into shorts. Again, however, I want to point something out. And this is something that I've talked about a little bit. But there is a useful built-in indicator on TradingView called historical volatility. Now, I know that there are some neat, like specifically Bitcoin historical volatility indicators. And again, Glassnode has some interesting data metrics. But historical volatility is a good indicator. And if you want to be conservative, and something that I do quite a bit actually, is look at historical volatility. If historical volatility is below 40, typically it is not a good area to trade. I used to do 50, right? I used to do 50. I think 50 is a little too conservative, but again, you can play around with this as you want. But this is, I noticed basically the same behavior in both Ethereum and BTC, that the market does not trend very well when volatility is below 50. And as we can see, it is 44, so it is below 50. So if you're conservative, you actually wouldn't be trading right now. But feel free to back test this for yourself. I think you'll find that this does help keep you out of periods of a lot of chop. Now, this is not necessarily something that you would want to replace a vol filter for, a proper vol filter that you've tested to work specifically for your strategy. So you often won't see me use them. It's more of a Swiss Army knife that you can use if you don't have a system. Mr. Ether says, did somebody call the Link Marines? All right. Well, let's look at it. I'm gonna need you guys to come in here and market buy this up just a little more, please. So we'll just do some basic anatomy here. All right. So we see Link here has approached resistance on high momentum and high volume. Here we have a volume spike. We're right at the what appears to be the zenith of this particular movement. Now, if we had approached resistance on low volume and low momentum, I could be, actually I couldn't be, because I'm trying to be bearish on Link. I am short on Link. I could see the case for that, but we've approached on high momentum and high volatility. Therefore, it makes it far more likely that this actually rejects from here. Now, whether that is a short-term trade or a long-term trade, I don't know, but I do think that this makes a good case because we've seen this quite a bit. Look at the wide range here. That was a lot of Link that was unloaded, guys. Some significant bag holders have stepped out of the game. Link just dropped 17% on up here, 8%. So this is probably Link's most significant sell-off on this latest rally. That's a lot of unloading, guys. And you can see it. You can see the volume right here. Look at the volume spike right here. A lot of sell side volume. Let's see, just on Binance alone. $6.143 million Link, 3.71, 6.28, 11.79, 5.3756, millions and millions and millions and millions of Link. And, I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe somebody can confirm this for me. The reason why I'm trading Link and Cardano on FTX and not Binance Margin is because I couldn't borrow Link or Cardano on Binance Margin to short. Now, I don't know if I was doing something wrong, which I don't think that I was, because I did the same thing that I always do when I don't have an asset and I simply want to borrow it and short sell it. Just click the borrow button and it said 0 available to borrow, although I had plenty of USDT in my account. So the way that I interpreted that, and maybe I'm wrong, but the way I certainly interpreted that was, wow, there's no Link to borrow because it's already all been borrowed. That's pretty bearish. If there was a signal to exit, I would certainly be here. All right. That's a pretty good trade so far. Let's see how that's doing so far. And no, before you guys get insane and put on a massive position size, up about $90 right now. So I could have been a little bit more aggressive with it. I'm good. All right. So we'll come back to Link here in a little bit and see if I am rich or poor. Okay, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Justin's highlight. We'll consider that Link. Let's get a chart request in here, guys. And by the way, thank you guys. I do see there's some new guys here in the stream. Highly appreciate you guys being here. We are here every single day. Water's nice. I do have a question here from Robert. What exactly do I look for with VIX Fix to identify a bottom or a top? Is it a green bar followed by a gray bar? So the way that I use VIX Fix is not really that scientific. So yeah, certainly. We can see here that periods of green bars followed by a period of gray bar is a buying opportunity. But I don't really think that's the way, I could be wrong, but I don't think that's the way the indicator's designed. I look at it more as confirmation. So when I see the VIX Fix signaling, when it's generating green bars, it lets me know that there is a better probability that the market is in a good reversal area opportunity to grab a long trade. So I use this in conjunction with ISOspot to actually generate the trading signal. So I just look for either recent confirmation or concurrent confirmation. So confirmation at the same time as the ISOspot signal. Yeah, I used to use VIX Fix quite a bit back in the day when I was looking for potential entries. There are other ways to use it too. There are some decent settings in here, like the show high range is pretty useful as well when you're looking for the significance of the signal. So for example, we can see, again, although this was a bottom, I tend to pay attention to the stature, the size of the bars, for example. So obviously this is a stronger signal than this, for example. And we can see that we did, again, that was a bottom. We did bounce there for a little bit, but this was a more significant bottom, right? And it did lead to a volume fall off here on the VIX Fix. And again, eventually led to price moving up. So this measures kind of the standard deviation of the movement as well, or the size of your VIX Fix bars. And so when you see bars that are greater than the standard deviation line, so very much similar to price being greater than, or volume being greater than the volume moving average, that is a more significant move. All right, and we do have some chart requests coming in. Adam USD, is that a break, hook, and go? Go check it out. We're going to replace Litecoin USDT. Because, let's see here. Adam USD on Kraken. So, break, hook, and go. So I assume what you mean by that is like a break, pullback, continuation. I don't have Adam here long term. So let's just get a good first initial grasp for where we are. Yep, okay. Okay, I can work with that. A little bit too much, but not too bad. All right, so Adam is pretty close to the vicinity of its last rejection. We have the initiation of selling or order block right here. This is also going to be a high volume node right around 460. But I bet, particularly if we throw on volume profile, let's just throw this on for confirmation. We're going to see that coming in right around. Sorry, I got to move because I got this glare in my eyes. Yeah, right around between 416 and about 445. So actually at the lower area of that. So more was distributed right here than was actually bought. So the sellers were actually a little bit stronger here. Absolute high volume nodes. So the point of control on this market is around 262. So 262 is the median price or the mean price, the average price, the fair market value of Atom. So we are above the fair market price, which means Atom's a little overbought, and that's okay. Could mean it's in a bullish trend. We just did have a big volume spike on a weekly bar to the upside. I would be biased to assume that a retracement is more likely at this point than a continuation of the trend, particularly based on the size of that volume spike. You know, I know everybody wants alt season to just move up in a straight line, but you know, I'll be the conservative cat in the corner that says, listen, guys, like this is what happens every time. Like everybody gets really, really bullish, and you guys, there's a difference between being bullish when the market is really low and saying, hey, I'm really bullish, I'm going to pick these up, and wait 6 months. And then seeing a market that's moved up 100 to 200% and seeing a big volume spike and considering that bullish. That is bearish. So anyways, BPC break, pullback, continuation. I don't see that here. We'll probably see it on the lower time frames, and maybe if we look right here, but there's a pretty big volume spike. So that is a good confirmation of a breakout right there. Nice candle body close on high volume, good momentum. That's a good confirmation of a breakout. We do have a double bottom pattern here. So we have, you could call this an Eve. I really wouldn't. I'd call these, I call this a double atom. So let's see what we got going on here. It's going to be yellow because now we're going to be measuring. Oops. Sorry. And we can rock with that. That's fine. Okay. And base step extension because it's easy. Measure from the high to the low. I'm going to avoid this because that sounds like doesn't agree with me very well. I'm just going to measure the high to the low, support to resistance, resistance to support, and just project from the point of the breakout. The actual point of the breakout, not the candle body close. And we have completed the measured movement and the 1.618 measured movement, right? So don't put a whole lot of faith in that 1.618, but it's just nice to have as a target on the chart because these things aren't objectively true in and of themselves, but they provide you a roadmap. They provide you a guide, and that is better than what most traders have. All right, so the movement is done. So we are really kind of out here in the middle of nowhere with no direction. Now, we do have a level of resistance, or excuse me, previous support, previous resistance, previous support turned resistance, which was sliced through like butter at about $3.50. So it is possible that we do get some consolidation and price is fairly accepted at $3.50 or above. We're currently at about $5 or $4. So I would expect price to actually continue to move down. We do have a swing failure pattern here on meso time frames. You could call this a tweezer top on the daily, but it's not because you do have one that's lower than the other. So this actually looks something like a swing failure pattern if we go down to the daily. So here we go. We have a high, and then a low, failure to make a higher high, we make a lower high, and then we actually take out the bottom. Now we're actually getting scammed right now because anybody that's margin trading Atom USD is getting smoked at the moment. I'm not even sure if you can margin trade Atom USD on Kraken. But anyways, we took out those lows on high sell volume. And price is moving to the upside. I would still be inclined to short sell this. Just not at the lows, right? You want to see price moving toward the lows on low volume and low momentum. And we were almost there, and then somebody just decided to dump their whole bag right here. And so, yes, the market's going to move up. Can I show Tesla Bitcoin correlation? I didn't know there was. So Adam, all right, let's zoom back out. Yeah, Adam, I don't feel like we have a good frame of reference for where we're at. Again, we wicked into previous distribution right here. This is where Adam was distributed right before it was massively sold off through February and March of 2020. So I'd be a little conservative right here. I would like to see some consolidation here. Some healthy consolidation would be good. And then we can look for some consolidation pattern to form, which we can watch for falling volume and watch for a breakout and take a movement and look for that. Other than that, I don't really see a whole lot on ADA. And now I'm going to apply the ISISpot and CM Williams VIX Fix, but ISISpot is really what I want to point out. We can see ISISpot generating its sell signal over here on the 7th of June. And we do see that although the market did move up for a day and then put in a little bit of a very squat doji, the market did retrace about 20% off that sell signal. And we have even higher sell side volume here, as well as what I'd call a euphoric buying rush. And we do have that sell signal 2 days ago. And so a 20% correction would actually put us, the 20% correction would actually put us back down for that BPC break pullback continuation at the previous resistance of $3.06. So let's say $3 to $3.10. $3 to $3.10 would be a pretty good range to expect a good retracement. That's a little bit of a fairer price. It's closer to the average range. You can see it acting as support and resistance throughout this range as well. So it's a good price. It's a good price for consolidation to occur at. Now, I guess one thing that could happen is if we do continue to be extremely euphorically bullish, which Granted, I know I am conservative in bull markets. It's possible that we form something like a, let's go to the 4 hour here, maybe see it a little bit better. I don't really see it there. See it even less there, but it's possible that we form something like a, you know, like some kind of, you never measure from the peak high, so this is wrong. You know, it would look like something like a bull flag on the daily time frame, right? So we can kind of see this looking like a bull flag, right? Like relatively holding support fairly well, kind of moving sideways with the downwards list. We would really want to see the volume pattern of falling volume with that, and we're really not. There's a ton of distribution going on here, and I do think a deeper retracement is likely in order. Der Student says, Jay, thank you for the content. I've been on the D for a while. I don't know what that means where you're from, bro, but being on the D certainly means something else here in America. But moving on. I'm just playing with you, man. Now I'm looking for an objective system to trade 10-minute to 30-minute bars. Can you please tell me what indicator should I backtest for Forex and crypto? I mean, so many, dude. Like, so many. There are a ton of indicators that are, you know, that stake their reputation on giving signals on intraday timeframes. Just backtest them. You know, you're gonna have to like backtest like 10, like maybe 30 or 50 indicators, right? You know, backtest about, you know, 2 days, maybe 3 days of. Actually, you know what I'd do is I'd backtest a week of 15-minute bars. That's not too bad. That's roughly the same thing as a daily range. So backtest about a week of 15-minute bars, or you know, maybe 4 or 5 days if that seems too strenuous. And just see how well your strategy does. You know, the problem with lower time frame strategies is that a daily trending strategy works well pretty much anywhere if you have the right filters. But a 15-minute strategy is really dependent on like what kind of strategy you're talking about. Is it a breakout strategy? Is it a reversal strategy? Is it a reversal to the mean strategy? You know, in my experience, reversions to the mean mixed with reversal entries tend to work the best on lower time frames. So buy low, sell high, cover low. So like ISISpot, for example, is an assassin on lower time frames. You know, if you shoot, you know, you can generally put ISISpot on just about any market that you want and target a 1% profit target and turn it on, and it's good to go. And this is what we'll be doing kind of moving forward. And you can adjust this. Like you can look at ATR. This is like one thing. If you're going to run automated systems, one thing that you need to generally adjust for is what is the volatility of the market. Because if your indicator is designed for, if it's optimized for entry, and your profit target is relatively static, that's not going to work. Your profit target needs, and your stop loss needs to be dynamic based on the volatility of the market. So I would, I would recommend, you know, if I were going to recommend a strategy, I'll tell you one that I've utilized on 15-minute bars, and that is the Fisher transform and Bollinger Bands. Right, so I wait until price is near, or above or below the upper or lower Bollinger Band, and then I wait for Fisher transform to cross over, ideally in overbought or oversold territory. And then I target a movement back to the middle, simple moving average, the standard, the middle line of the Bollinger Band, which is the SMA 20. So that's a pretty good strategy, right? You know, I have a friend who does that with RSI actually, even though I think RSI sucks. But yeah, all kinds of things that you can do. There's, you know, and that's not even getting into like the really good indicators that are out there. You know, so for example, like define good indicators. Just go to TradingView. Go to scripts. If you want a good, I think, entry indicator for lower time frames, certainly check out the oscillator section rather than centered oscillators. But listen, here's a really good indicator. I just came across this a couple days ago. Cheat Country is a really good developer here on TradingView. But let me show you this DeMark reversal points. It's a good indicator. Just put it on here. DeMark reversal points. Yeah. This thing is good. It's good on the daily too. Yeah, so here we go. And this is based off TD Sequential. If you guys haven't seen my video on TD Sequential, check this out. Obviously, Tom DeMark developed a lot of strategies and indicators. And that was actually the first technical analysis book I read that made me want to be a trader or to learn technical analysis, which is The New Science of Technical Analysis by Tom DeMark. I highly recommend that book. It's a little dry. It's probably not as relevant to the market as you might think it is, but it's just, holds a special place in my heart. Just like some people like Labyrinth, some people like The Dark Crystal, some people like Ferngully. It's whatever, right? Some people like, Never Ending Story. I like them all. It is what it is. All right, we have, by the way, we have a live report from the Link USDT markets. It's live. It's broadcasting live from 4chan's BizBoard right now. Never sell, Link Marine for life. Let's go, LMFAO. Listen, man, like that sounds fantastic, but at some point, you do sell, right? At some point, you do want to sell. Like what is Chainlink going to do for you? What is holding Chainlink going to do for you and your family? Probably not a lot, but selling it and the money that you make from selling it, you bought Link to make money. You didn't buy Link because, Link cleans your house. No, it was the audio better. I don't have an audio input source on the scene. All right, so I think that's good. Let's take a quick ad break, guys. Okay. Okay, yeah, of course. Today's show is brought to you by the Kraken Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. There's never been a better time to learn how to navigate the financial markets. If you guys enjoy the analysis, if you guys would like to develop your own objective approach to the markets so that you are not, so that you are less, what's the word I'm looking for? So that you are less influenced by what's going on Twitter, what's going on 4chan, what's going on in Discord or Telegram, or anybody who's telling you that they know what's going on in the markets. Like, obviously, that sounds like a little affront because you guys are here watching me on this stream, for example. But I want you guys to make your own decisions. I want you guys to develop your own strategies. That's why I take the time to explain the justifications and the methodology behind what I do. Right? I want you guys to build your own system. That's exactly what I do. I make my own trades. I stand on my own 2 feet. And at the end of the day, I'm either right or wrong based on my own metrics. And that's how I live my life. And I think that's how people should live their lives. It's nobody else's fault if I take a losing trade. It's nobody else's fault if they give me a great, signal or a tip on a particular asset to trade and I take it. That's me. Ultimately, I made that decision. So having an objective mindset, having an objective strategy certainly helps because individuals that trade subjectively tend to get chopped up by the market. So if you're interested in cryptocurrency or Forex, derivatives, stocks, ETFs, contracts for difference, we certainly have you covered. You can build your own data-driven strategy pursuant to the Pathways to Profit methodology, or coming soon, the Modified Pathways to Profit strategy. Learn how to build your own strategy algorithmically in Pine or in other mediums as we develop support for them. Utilize our premium indicator suite, enjoy our premium signal service. We also do one-on-one mentoring, as well as our community. There's just, we add new stuff every day. So you guys really got to check the website. But if you're tired of trading with your gut and watching poor discipline sap away your progress, make a change and join us at premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. Link's up there. I can't get rid of it. It's always there. Premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. All right. We've got a few more things that I want to check out before we get into today's news article. And it's a good one. Good one. All right. Node really wants me to be long on this Bitcoin movement. I can't do it, man. I simply can't. I simply can't. If I miss this one, my friend, GXS and KNC flag. All right, let's check them out. All right, I'm gonna go look at Forex. Get it. All right, so here's Atom USD. Check out GXS BTC. GXS even have the USDT pair? Yeah, it does. I would rather trade the USDT. All right, so yeah, GX chain, not a whole lot we can do on the weekly here. Okay. I really got to get my templates down. Yep. And let's just do that. Their student says, Jay, I'm the best. I do, you know, I do have plenty of people in my life who positively affirm my existence, which is a good thing. All right, so on the daily, what I do like here about GXS is this is following a pretty significant sell side movement, and we have price is bidding up on not insane volume spikes. See, this looks like a market. Again, I'm not saying that it's a good entry. But what I'm saying is this looks like something you would want to enter because there's upside potential here. Price is relatively low. Price just tried to break below its support and rallied above it and held it as a floor, and now it seems staged to kind of push for another movement up. All right. All right, so, and I think we can make a case here for, an ascending triangle. Might not be as pretty as the BTC pair, but you know, our life's messy, man. Here we go. All right, so we want to do. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Some white space. Now we do get the opportunity. Yeah, I don't like that because that is actually a violation. So we'll do this. Boom, there we go. We got it. All right, so let's assume we break out here. All right, so nice measured movement here would be conservative. Very much, Mr. Trend-based fib extension. Profit. Big profit. All right. Okay. I wish this wouldn't have made a lower low. It technically did. It did technically make a lower low. But not everything's perfect. All right, so we have the apex of this triangle is 128 bars. We are currently at 128 times 0.7 is about 90 bars. Right here. Oops. Control Z, Alt V. There's the apex of the triangle right there, or 70% of the movement. This is typically where triangles break out at about 70% of the movement through. And again, I don't really like calling ascending triangles that form at the bottom of markets or after down movements ascending triangles. I realize that that's what they are, but it doesn't feel right to me. I like ascending triangles as continuation patterns in bullish markets, but hey, beggars cannot be choosers. All right, so talk about entry. So again, we can either take the breakout on this particular trade. Come on now. And following the breakout, throwback is fine, which means your stop loss really needs to be below right here. Out there. Yeah, but this is a GX. I can't believe I'm not going to use a 10% stop loss on this. It seems silly. But 5% stop loss for that particular movement is fine. So you're looking at about a 9% movement, about 8.69% movement with an initial take profit. 0.55. Make sure I didn't make a mistake here. Oh, that seems to be about right. Yeah. I'm coming up with about 56 cents, about 57 cents for TP. Now, there is just enough room for me to attempt to be sneaky here and target this area right here for an entry. About 5114 pullback, which I don't know if I'll get it because beautiful buy signal right here on the hourly. Sell signal here too as well. I can only trade what's in front of me, sir. So I kind of like this, but I'm hoping that I can get some rejection here, and then I would hope that I could get long on this pullback. So I'm actually going to set an alert here. We'll see what happens. All right, T-Dub, man, thank you so much for the $2, my friend. He says, only ungrateful watches don't thumbs up. You know, it's possible that their mouses are broken, but we have to be pretty speculative about that at this point in time, you know? It's going to be, you know, pretty... Those mouses have been broken for a long time if they still ain't, you know, hitting the thumbs up button. Thank you, man. I do highly appreciate that. All right, so real quick, Forex, indices, and precious metal wrap-ups. Yeah, Mbate's been watching me for like 3 years. He hasn't hit the thumbs up button one time. And yeah, you're done, sir. Small phone. Oh yeah, small phone. I get it. Okay. Yeah. All right, so Forex first. Let's get into IN50. First thing, let's just take a look at my open Forex trades. Aussie Kiwi, I didn't end up exiting, so the Aussie Kiwi actually has come back and hit my break-even stop loss. So I took 50% of my profit on my Aussie Kiwi short. The trade is now closed because my break-even stop loss has triggered, and we're done. Euro Swissy, let's see here. We're on the daily. All right, so the Euro Swissy, this is the first. The Euro Swissy is the first meso timeframe Forex trade that I have recommended for the group. Now, I think we're okay. Kind of my initial plan was to ride price to 1.072, take the sell from there down to 1.067, and then take this to the upside and grab the long position. We actually had a quicker rejection than I thought. So we've actually pushed up past our... Double check. Sometimes I say things because I don't check what's going on. Yeah, so we only reached a 4 of 106.506, and we needed to hit 106.494. Yeah, 106.494. Might be a little out in the cold on the woods on that one. So again, we'll just watch 107 here, 107.2 to see if we can actually get that sell side volume that I wanted to see. Still have the possibility to get it here because again, we do have this nice volume move up, this movement on high volume, and this does look good for another push back down. Which, if that does happen, might invalidate the long trades. But again, good, interesting setup here. I like this. I constructed this with another one of the analysts, so we'll see. But the daily time frame trades have been good. That's it, except for the Aussie Kiwi. The most recently completed trade that we did was the dollar UN. And the dollar UN, we just covered that not too long. the dollar UN. We were long on. We went long on the 30th of June. Actually held that trade for a while. This isn't right. This is 4 hours. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, no, not long. We went short on the 30th of June, right here. Continuation signal to the downside, and then exited on the exit signal 2 days ago. So very, very good trade on the dollar win. All right, so take a look at Forex. The Aussie yen is going to be giving potential continuation today, but no signal. Let's see if we can stay above 74. Aussie Kiwi, I'm already in. The Aussie Canadian is hinting it's a pretty strong continuation here today. So that's going to go on my list. The Aussie dollar is a little bit weaker. Let's take a look at the currency strength indicator. Justin says, I'm curious to know what you think about binary options. I think binary options are pretty much a scam. You know, I see them being advertised to, you know, like they just push them so hard because they're like options, but they're like cheap options, right? They're like, you know, they're like the over under on sports bets. Yeah, I don't think they're good. I don't think they're good. Thank you, Mr. Ether. I appreciate the moderation activity. Let's see here. So looking at the, wait for it to load. Canadian Swissy, the Canadian dollar is looking weak today. We did get some continuation on the Canadian Swissy back here on the 7th of July. So we can see the continuation short so far up about 0.5% so far if we would have taken that signal. I didn't. We're a little overextended to the downside now. We'll just wait. Same thing here on the Canadian yen. I do remember that was a day where we had some news coming in for the Canadian dollar, so we didn't actually take any Canadian yen trades. Swissy yen, potential continuation to the upside, but I think we're going to need another day here on the Swissy. Euro Aussie still, the volume is not quite there yet, so kind of looking like a triple rejection here from the 1.6 area. The Euro Canadian is ripping though, so shout out to individuals taking that. And that's going to make me have to rethink my Euro Swissy trade. Euro Kiwi is giving the trade okay, but again, the volume's just not there yet. The Euro Pound, volume's just not there yet for these long trades on the Euro, except for the Euro Yen. So we might be able to get in with some, if the Euro is going to continue to rip, the Euro Yen might be able to get us in there. The Euro Dollar is giving us an entry, but I do need to see a pullback on the Euro Dollar below 1.37. Let's look at what the Pound is doing. The British Pound coming up on rejection against the Kiwi. Now for support on the against the CAD and breaking down against the Swissy. Not there for a short. Not there for a short. Not there. That's a reversal baseline bounce. Not there for a short. Kiwi Dollar generating a reversal baseline bounce opportunity maybe, as is the Kiwi CAD. The Kiwi Swissy seems to be breaking down, but again, volume is not indicating that the sellers are that strong, so not quite there yet. The dollar Canadian is finally potentially ready for a movement to the upside, so there's actually quite a few Forex trades here today. No. Yeah, so the only thing I identified was the Aussie Canadian, the Euro Yen, the Euro Dollar, and the Dollar Canadian, but they were all a little iffy. We'll have to kind of really pay attention to them as we get closer to candle close. Let's check in and see if I am a rich or poor, guys. All right, so so far, I'm going to be making money off my Chainlink short. All right, let me actually check my trade. Let me check my trade. Up 2.45%. So I was able to get in on Link Perp at what's my entry price? 8.07931730. All right, let's go, boys. Challenged investor, thank you so much for the $1.99. $2. AMRK, AMRK Precious Metals, thoughts? All right, let's go there next. We were going to go to ETFs. AMRK, AMRK Precious Metals. Indicators. Out of here. All right, let's take a gander here. What? Thank you. Well, I feel like you know what I'm going to say. Okay, pretty much takes care of everything. All right, so AMRK, got our levels of support and resistance out here. Identified on the weekly time frame. Closest support is at 1402. Now, you could make a case, and I will. I'll do it. I'll be generous here. We do have some potential support at $18. All right, it's a big zone right there. Let's take a look and see where our point of control is and see what the fair market price is here. And it is right there, 1658 is our point of control. Let's mark that out. Point of control, $18. Cool. All right, so AMRK is basically just blown up following the, actually, no, this isn't the March meltdown. This is the October, like it just sold off from October to November, accumulated throughout the beginning of the year. And in response to the March meltdown, decided to go on the COVID-19 155% FTW pump. Take it easy, Note. Thanks for stopping by the stream. I appreciate it, brother. All right, so at 2207, we are at the previous highs that we formed in February of 2016, and then we failed to really test in February of 2017, just a year later. And now here we are in July of 2020, no correlation with February whatsoever there, and attempting to push and break above. So just based on the weekly time frame, I would be a little skeptical here. I do, again, I'm always like this. I'm always wary of breakout trades. Wary of breakout trades. This is areas where the maximum amount possible of pain can be inflicted upon retail traders. So I would be very careful of liquidity grabs between here and $23. This is where individuals, if they want to, might buy in. And I'm not entirely convinced that individuals who are purchasing gold and silver at these levels, even though this is a stock, are buying at relative highs. I mean, certainly they're buying the highest price possible on the chart. Somebody just bought the highest price possible. So this just made an all-time high at 2220. So that is certainly a sign. Take some profit. Let profits run, and we'll see what kind of happens or establishes out of this. I would actually like to see, well, I don't know what I would like to see. If I was holding this, I would probably like to see it continue to run. What is likely to happen is either an up thrust, a failed up thrust, and a pullback to about $18. That's the first place I would look for a pullback. Could be a little bit higher, could be a little bit lower, but I expect about $18 for a pullback. I'm not going to rule out that the euphoria absolutely continues. So again, do not drop your position. Take some profit. You made a new all-time high. Great opportunity to take some profit off the table. Let your position run with a trailing stop loss. All right, so I have mine. $19.26 is a good trailing stop loss. Rodrigo seems to think. And let's see what happens. Let's see if we consolidate between 18 and 16.59. Bought at $15. Well, pretty smart, dude. We're up about 20, what? About 50%? Yeah, man. Double digits. Take some profit, man. 20 to 30%. Move your stop loss up. What's that trailing stop loss at about? What I said. 1926? 1926. I mean, that's it, right? When you look for the opportunity to sell the top, that's right there. And if this thing continues to run, great. We are going to let it run. No, you can't, man. You don't. You don't really. Or you'd have your own show. Anyways, AMRK, good. So let's just go ahead and gloss over the rest of that. We usually cover precious metals and indices. Is there a wrong way to interpret bullish divergence as bearish by accident, for example? Sure. I mean, there are. You could interpret anything incorrectly. I mean, I frequently misinterpret, you know, the instructions on boiled ham, for example. So divergence. So divergence occurs when price makes a, for example, bullish divergence is when price makes a low and then it makes a lower low. So this is price. Then you have some sort of momentum oscillator that at the same point in time makes a low and then makes a higher low, like that. So here's price, here's your oscillator, that is bullish divergence, and you would typically go long on some kind of confirmation. Bearish divergence is when you have price moving up and you form a higher high, but your oscillator forms a, lower high. Okay, so oscillator forms a lower high, price makes a higher high. And you would typically look to go short on some kind of initiative. All right, so we are getting long in the tooth here on this particular show. All right, so we are going to move into today's cryptocurrency segment. Today we're going to be talking quite a bit about the latest Glassnode's data and how stablecoins and volatility can fuel Bitcoin's breakout. Before we do so, though, hear a word from our friends over at ByBit, which is, I'm not, well, you know, 3 comma certainly facilitates a lot of my trading, but as far as trading on an exchange, I'm really, no, you know what? I'm starting to like FTX quite a bit, but ByBit is still certainly my favorite margin exchange to trade on so far. Been using it for about a year. I made the switch to BitMEX, and it's honestly the best decision I made in cryptocurrency. You know, I've had a winning strategy for a long time, but just the amount of nonsense and stress that I had to deal with at BitMEX is ridiculous. I don't have to deal with it anymore. And ByBit's got some great products and services. Like the fact that you can sit in USDT and receive your profits in USDT, I think is absolutely fantastic. And then quickly switch over to your other spot assets. They have the insurance fund, which is the only exchange that has the insurance fund as far as I'm aware of. And that's actually a pretty neat feature. I wasn't sure about it when they first launched it. And I don't actually use it that much, but it's pretty cool. I just need to sit down and think about a strategy. I should make a video about that. About the insurance fund option on, and not like the BitMEX insurance fund. You can purchase insurance on your trade. You can pay a little bit more. And if you have a losing trade, it can be covered out of your insurance. It's pretty neat. So anyways, let's see how Jason's doing over there with ByBit. If you guys would like to listen, they always have something, man. I think you get $50 on your first deposit. You don't have to verify that with the website. I don't know. They do different things all the time. So let's hear a word.
Can't catch a break over on BitMEX with all the wicks? Try a better alternative at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com and rest easy for a change.
All right, and we're back over here. Make sure this, oh, wrong button. This one? There we go. That doesn't quite look right, does it? Why do I got this green screen on? Just give me a second. Come on now. Well, pardon us for just 1 second while I fix this atrocity. All right, I think I fixed it. I certainly did. All right, I fixed it. So, for our first news story today, really our only news story. Now, the latest Glassnode report has dropped, and their on-chain analysis suggests that Bitcoin could attract a massive inflow of capital in the event that there is a mass migration of liquidity leaving the stablecoin market and flooding into the Bitcoin buy side. So right now there is a measurement of exactly how much money. So for every dollar in Bitcoin, we can measure exactly how much money is in stablecoins. And the more money that's in stablecoins, we can say, well, this is all potential buying waiting to happen, because eventually at some point in time, that liquidity will want to move into USDT, right? There's a lot of other things that it could imply as well. It does imply, of course, a lot of individuals were a little worried about Bitfinex recently going back to court with the New York Attorney General's office. But let's not think about that right now. But certainly, the amount of capital that's sitting on the sidelines in USDT or in stablecoins that is waiting to flow into BTC, which it does want to, right, does kind of leave this bullish fundamental on the side, right? Which, you know, is a little bit more than the hack of saying, hey, there's a lot of money that's not in Bitcoin. If that money went into Bitcoin, man, let me tell you, price gets skyrocket. It's a little bit more, you know, it's a little bit more than that. If you have money in USDT, I mean, you are an individual that's buying Bitcoin. There's not somebody who has USDT just because they want USDT. They don't yet offer that as payroll services yet. All right, so here is their on-chain report. So the in this, they go into detail about you know, this intel agency, right? And in their weekly report here, they talk about the supply of stablecoins and how it's outpacing Bitcoin's own growth, right? So they call this measurement, this ratio, the stablecoin supply ratio. This is a metric that represents the ratio between the supply of money in Bitcoin and the supply of stablecoins, or the measurement of the supply of money in stablecoins. And you can use it, well, the way that they utilize it is to define the theoretical readiness of money to flow into Bitcoin. So the more money held in stablecoins, the higher the potential for a large inflow of capital into Bitcoin on short notice. Now, we scroll down here a little bit. Talk about Bitcoin market out. This is pretty good. If you guys should definitely go get this. I don't know if you have to pay for Glassnode, but you guys can certainly check out Glassnode. Got a link somewhere. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's a mess over here. We just make money and trade Bitcoin. We don't necessarily have all our links in order. According to Glassnode, these non-Fed digital dollar representations tend to improve liquidity in the cryptocurrency markets. USDT stablecoins do increase liquidity dramatically in the cryptocurrency market. They make it very easy. They make it much easier for professional traders to actually market enter or market exit or make markets or set prices, certainly than actually volatile cryptocurrency being held as the quote pair for these transactional trades. Traders obviously use stablecoins to purchase or sell cryptocurrency without needing to involve a banking institution. And there's a US dollar shelter during highly volatile periods in the market. But over the past few weeks, Bitcoin has been in one of its least volatile periods ever, with the king of crypto seemingly stuck in a narrow $300 trading range. And crypto Twitter receiving updates at all hours of the night every time Bitcoin does something on the 5-minute chart. Traders have apparently been unable to get a bead on a definite short-term directional bias, or if they have, they're certainly not talking about it. Generally, they're not talking about the ones that they have gotten wrong. According to Glassnode, Bitcoin's current price action is typically expected to coincide with lower stablecoin demand. When we have low volatility and ranging behavior, we typically see lower stablecoin demand. But the stablecoin supply is actually growing right now at a very impressive rate. And the top stablecoin Tether, for instance, reported a market cap worth over $10 billion last week. I have quite a bit of USDT. And Glassnode calls this the readiness of money. So potential rocket fuel for Bitcoin's next major move to the upside, as traders begin to move their growing cash positions into invested positions, ready to catch the next major breakout. Now, Josh Rager, he is actually one of the few analysts that I actually like to follow on Twitter. So individuals like Josh are watching Bitcoin's very, very low volatility and talking about it. Now, Josh Rager is based in the United States. He's a crypto trader. He posted this warning to Twitter on Sunday, saying, fasten your seatbelts. When Bitcoin hits this level of low volatility, it's usually followed in the coming weeks by a 30 to 60% movement in either direction, though. So no directional bias, though. So for reference, a 30% move to the upside is $12,200. And a 30% move to the downside is $6,500. Now, the Glassnode report, however, seemed to lean bullish, again, pointing to this higher stablecoin supply stuck on the sidelines as potentially leading Bitcoin's price higher. But they also remarked that this same stablecoin capital could actually just migrate into the altcoin markets and fuel the budding alt season, right? So with the rise in stablecoin supply, individuals just might be seeing people preparing to buy into Bitcoin en masse. But those funds just may be earmarked for another purpose, such as buying into altcoin pumps. That's a quote from the Glassnode's report. And obviously, it's very hard to deny. I mean, look, nearly every top altcoin has made better quarter-to-date gains than Bitcoin so far. So let's think about this from a more human perspective. Let's, I assume that you watching this probably have a little bit of capital on the sides. You haven't invested everything into the market. You have a $20 bill in your pocket, maybe. I don't know, possibly. But there's generally always ways for us to acquire capital and invest more money into the markets, right? We can work a little bit more. We can take a second job. We can sell off assets, for example. So, for example, like right now, I have Tether sitting on an exchange. And if I see, and what is that Tether doing? Like I'm a professional trader, I'm a professional investor. If I see big price dips, those start to look attractive to me and I will accumulate. Like I just talked about MCO. So, and I think that's probably true for a variety of individuals. Now, to be realistic, I do think that I do feel that it's more likely in the short term. I do feel that it's more likely in the short term that Bitcoin does move down. I'm not heavily married to that. I don't have an extremely bearish perspective. It just does seem more likely based on what I'm seeing in the markets and my experience in previous other low levels of historically low volatility in Bitcoin's price action. So there's a better case, I think, to the bull side in the short term. But again, if you guys refer to my volume profile analysis and my overall analysis of Bitcoin, I am macro bullish. I do think that we do continue to move up. So what I'm saying is the fact that there's a lot of stable coins on the sidelines ready to buy into Bitcoin certainly does strengthen the bullish case, but it does not mean we cannot have a significant correction to the downside before that. Right? So to summarize, a low stablecoin supply rate, or SSR, is generally a bullish sign for Bitcoin. The purchase of Bitcoin is, of course, not the only use, though, of these stablecoins. The ballooning stablecoin supply might see investors buy into Bitcoin en masse if they see the right moment. But those funds are likely earmarked right now for another purpose, like buying into altcoins when they dip down next time. Now, of course, there is another possible hypothesis for what a growing stablecoin hoard could mean for macro trends. It could mean, in fact, that, or it could only be tangentially related to cryptocurrency markets. The entire world is crazy right now. We are in late stage empire era. Economic conditions are uncertain across the globe. And this growth in stablecoin supply could be pointing at the adoption of a new way to actually store wealth, right? There is a large proportion, I don't want to say a large portion, but there is a certain proportion of international investors who would prefer to keep their wealth in USDT while they ride out the economic storm. You know, some may be opting for these new blockchain-based stablecoins to stay liquid until the COVID-19 related dust settles. But one thing's for sure. When Bitcoin makes its next major price movement, which is likely going to be coming in the next few weeks, it's going to be shedding light on where those stablecoins are heading, if they end up moving at all. So let me know your guys' thoughts and comments in the section down below. I do think that it is interesting to see stablecoins grow. And I talked about this, you know, I had predicted this for a while. USDT, not necessarily, you know, dollar tether, but stablecoins are a no-brainer, right? Because eventually the ultimate goal of something like Bitcoin is to serve as stable money, right? You do want if Bitcoin is going to serve as a currency, you do want it to have a stable value. But from here until there, volatility. So I gotta fix the focusing, but let me know your guys' thoughts and comments in the section down below. With that being said, let's check. Let's take a look here. Okay. All right. And speaking about volatility, speaking about privacy, if you guys care about privacy and cryptocurrency, make sure to check out our friends at Spectre Security Coin, spectresecurity.org. They are, you know, again, one of the few companies I know that is actively working to put the power of your privacy and your data back in your hands. If I were to recommend anything that they offer, I mean, in addition to all the games and awesome community that they have, they've got a fantastic one-on-one consultation service. So if you are unclear on how to protect your digital privacy, if you keep getting your Binance margin account shut down because your VPN keeps slipping, definitely check out Spectre Security Coin, get a one-on-one consultation, and boost your digital privacy. Tell them Justin sent you. Use the discount code GETCRACKING, GETCRACI. I spelled it wrong. GETCRACKING at checkout to get 10% off. Get cracking at, and you guys can just use the link in the description, spectre.crackingcryptocurrency.com. All right, so let's see if we have any questions. Man, I gotta lean back. It's just easier for me. I'm in focus if I lean back. Here, nope. Here, maybe. Oh, this is embarrassing. That's all right. Okay. Okay. I'll have a few minutes to answer some questions. Let's go to audience engagement. I looked at Link. I looked at VIX Fix, GXS. And can I explain exactly what those perps are? Is it like a mutual fund for crypto? No, it's a perpetual swap contract. That means it's a futures contract without expiration. So one of the innovations that BitMEX did bring to the cryptocurrency and trading game in general is this concept of a perpetual contract. So futures had existed for a long, long time. A futures contract is you and I, a buyer and a seller, agrees to speculate on the future price of an asset. So I am I'm going to speculate to the long side. The price is going to be higher from right now to the closing date of the futures contract. So the futures contract has a beginning date and an ending date. And on the ending date, the contract is settled, meaning that the final price of the futures contract will be settled at market, whatever the mark price is at that point in time. In BitMEX's case, and in many cases for futures contracts, the mark price or the price of the contract is based on a variety or a basket of index prices of the underlying asset or different measurements of the underlying asset. So like all those, the underlying asset is not being traded when you're trading the future. They're futures contracts. They're just contracts between you and another individual. They're printed out of nowhere and they have a monetary value. So you can buy and sell them. They're contracts. They're financial instruments. And futures always expire, right? And when the futures contract expires, individuals are either settled out in cash or they take or are obliged to follow through with physical delivery of the underlying asset. This is true in the case of oil futures on the COMEX or the NYMEX, for example. So BitMEX created this perpetual swap contract. It was truly an innovation. And it was a futures contract that never expired. You could trade the same contract 24/7, hold a position open on a futures contract for years. And they really did this because, you know, BitMEX, I think BitMEX was not necessarily aware of what they were building when they built it. They didn't know they were going to build the world's greatest online casino and an hustle factory. But I remember BitMEX's advertisements when they promoted utilizing BitMEX's perpetual swap contract as a way to hedge your Bitcoin and earn passive interest because you would earn the funding rate. So the way that they, you know, if you have kind of the danger of a perpetual futures contract is that you can, it incentivizes whales to build up massive positions in one direction and just control the market and just constantly push it and suppress it in one direction, the direction that they want. With futures contracts, those futures contracts expire and then individuals have to roll over. And so there's at least an opportunity for the free market to kind of make things breathe and you get an opportunity for a fair entry. With a perpetual contract, you don't really have that. So they needed to develop a way to incentivize to incentivize individuals to basically get out of their positions once in a while. And this is funding, right? So when the majority of traders on the perpetual swap contract are bullish and buying, and the mark price of the contract begins to move higher than the index price, than the underlying asset price, then funding goes positive and longs pay short. So longs are actively penalized for continuing to bid the market up into contango. Conversely, if the futures market is extremely bearish and begins short selling, and you have this long backwardation of price, so derivatives price is lower than index price, you have prices in backwardation on the futures, and shorts pay long. So shorts are actively disincentivized to short sell the market. So this is all designed to keep the mark price in line with the index price, despite the fact that you can have access to margin and shenanigans on the futures platform. So that's all it is. These are all just perpetual contracts that don't expire, and you're going to get charged funding if you're on the wrong side of the trade and receive funding if you're on the right side of the trade. So thank you to Pie Guy. That's a good question. And let's see what else we have. Let's see here. Yeah, I know the camera's out of focus. Let's maybe I could bring it in just a little bit. You guys want to do this together? Let's do this. All right, so I'm gonna pretend like I'm gonna sit here and pretend like this Ocean X hat is me. Focus on that. Well, I made the mistake of coming over here without turning the monitor toward me, really. That's better, but it's not a whole lot better. I apologize. Okay. All right, let's try this one more time. Like I actually have some sense in my. And that's about as good as she's going to get, boys. All right. Better? Looks better to me. Still not 100%, but I'll fix it in post. Not really. Let's see here. Peckham says, I'm stuck. I want the price to go up. I'm seeing red flags all over, but the charts say I'm wrong, but I'm sure I'm right, so I must be wrong. So you probably shouldn't be trading, bro. Like, you do not need price to go up. All you need to do is identify a profitable trade setup. And if the chart is causing you to like question the fundamental purpose of your existence, then it's not a movement you need to catch, you know? Like, for example, like Node made a very good point earlier. He said, you know, like he was chiding me in DM, like, hey man, you should really be long on this movement. Price is going to move up. And it certainly could, but this is a long that I'm not going to be in. It's not my trade. Darth Maul strikes again. Goldbug Peter S wants to know when we will give up on Bitcoin. Never. Never give up. Never surrender. Sure, I finished up what I was doing at work and come back to a we'll be right back, and he wonders why he can't get a like from me. Yeah, I mean, just completely unprofessional around here. I've seen people making a killing in binary options, but I never bothered to look much into it. Has anybody else here tried? Yeah, it's the majority of people are not making a killing in binary options, right? Let me tell you this. There are some people making a killing in arms manufacturing, man. Like making an absolute killing in vaccine production. But not most of them. Not you and I. Handy Ram said, YouTube algos said I'm watching this, like it or not. I wish they did that more often. Any thoughts on USDT being in trouble with the New York State Attorney? Yeah, so I'm pretty critical of Bitfinex. I am, based on everything that I understand and the information that I have at my disposal, it seems pretty evident to me that the Tether Treasury is funded. They had the money to bail out Bitfinex. And it seems that they have recouped all the money that they loaned to Bitfinex from the sale of the Leo token. Now, potentially they may be in trouble with the Leo sale token, if Leo is considered to be a security. But I think that, listen, I think the dollar tether is there. I think that Bitfinex is probably the best of the worst, okay? So I'm pretty critical of Bitfinex, and I call them out when they do bad things, and they do bad things. They have done a lot of bad things. But here's the thing, guys. Like, if you guys think that the regulators or that the federal governments or that the institutions of the governments of the world are any better, you're wrong. Like, I think that Bitfinex is probably far more equitable and just than them. Because they're liable to us, right? So. No, Justin, I've invested everything, says Jake Rezio. That means you're sitting there buck naked. Wait, I'm short ADA, but not Link. I'm short both. Well, I mean, I wouldn't want to sit here and watch, I wouldn't want to sit here and watch somebody that didn't want to talk to me. So I enjoy talking to you guys. You guys help me. You know, this is something that's very, very important, but listen, learning to be a trader, developing the discipline necessary, you know, just dealing with all the stuff that comes along with being a trader and all the stuff you have to be on top of and pay attention to and be good at and be proficient at. You know, and not just all the work you have to do to build a system, for example, or build any kind of trading strategy and be successful at it. You need to talk about what's going on in your head and in your heart. You need people that you can share that with. And this is why I think community is extremely important, or having a mentor is extremely important, or having friends you can talk to and share just what's going on. Because trading is one of those rare things where you're exposed to the worst elements of your personality, your fear and your greed and your irrationality and your impatience and your arrogance and your vanity and your pride and your ego. All of that stuff just comes out, does come out, will come out when you trade financial markets. And it's a journey to deal with them. It is a process to make yourself a better person and a more profitable individual. And I would argue that the reason that the failure rate is very high for traders is not because trading is difficult. It's because mastery of the self is difficult. Even, if you're keeping a lid on everything going on inside there, man, you're doing a pretty good job. Because most people are just walking around completely unhinged, right? They may not look it, but they are one pop off away from completely losing everything. And the last question here is elaborate on the ADA short. Okay, let's do so. No, I'm poor. I was wrong. Yeah, so here was my original entry. I shorted ADA USDT from here. Didn't hit my take profit, missed it by a little bit. Maybe I was a little too greedy. Price is back up at my entry, and I'm prone to re-enter this. I added to my position. So here we see a little bit of consolidation, and price pop right back up on high volume, high momentum. Nice double wicks at resistance. Again, possible that we break through this and just continue bullishly marching on, but I think that the odds are not to that, and I'm not in that trade. So I was right about wanting to short ADA. This is triple resistance. Now we have formed listen, there are some things here that we might break out, and I'll have been wrong about a trade. These things happen. But again, the odds are pretty good here. High momentum, high volume coming into resistance, triple top, a lot of distribution around this level, massive sell-off. So a lot of individuals exited. And I think somebody pointed it out pretty well earlier. Like, do you really think that the new ADA buyers coming in have stronger hands than the ADA buyers who held this thing for all of this? It's a 20% correction. This is not really a time when you want to be going long. Like down here, like if you want to scalp this to the upside, like this is the time. We're forming a range, not a trend. It's going to be a range, not a trend, guys. Same thing might be true of Link. I don't think we're going to continue the trend. I think we might form a range. Pretty big range. Crypto God says cocaine brings that out of me. Nothing better when the wind cuts cold, my brother. Just an idea. Is there a chance we could £5 each and get Justin to DeFi some altcoins and show us the long-term loss rather than us each do it? T-Dub says, silver please, any drops incoming? I'm buying silver as long as I can get it under $20, man. That's about as much of the top as I'm trying to buy. But Justin, we are profitable in the markets with a strategy. Can't binary options also be seen as a tool for profit? Those with efficient, lower time frame price action strategy. It's my opinion that it's the way. Listen, I think it's the way that they're designed, man. I'm not certainly. Listen, there are profitable options traders, but and binary options traders. But I think that the people making the real bucks on binary options are the brokers. I could be wrong though. All right, guys. It's 2:06, man. I'm sorry. This is a fantastic show. A lot of good people in here. But I got stuff I got to do, man. This is, man, I got a lot. I got things. I got to continue working on the online trading academy. All right. So, calendar. Nothing occurring today. Make sure to, premium members, premium, plus and professional members, make sure to join us, tomorrow for the for the community mentoring session. Now, we have switched to the new subscription model, so new invitations are going to be sent out. So I'm going to do that actually probably right now, if it hasn't already been done by the team. And so the invitations that are currently on your calendar are incorrect. So you'll receive new invitations by tonight, and you'll use that link for the conference, for the community mentoring conference. We're going to cover discretionary trading, and we're going to cover how to set up an initial chart and what to look for when doing long-term analysis is going to be our main topic. And we're going to talk about, we're going to kind of do a beta of the online trading academy for the premium members before it gets launched on Monday. Upcoming events, of course, we have the online trading academy that's launching on Monday, and the members come home campaign. So if you were a previous premium member and you haven't been with us for a while, and you have noticed that we have a lot of new indicators, strategies, signals, systems, educational material, the launch of the Online Trading Academy, mentoring, all of the things. And you were with us earlier. We appreciate the support, and we want to give you an opportunity to come back to the community. So we are going to be sending out coupon codes, pretty significant discounts to previous premium members. Just follow the instructions on the email when it comes out. And if you are a premium member, a previous premium member that has not received such an email, and you feel that you should, email support@crackingcryptocurrency.com, our official support desk, and they'll do what they can to look at the situation. All right. Other than that, make sure to leave a comment down below, whether it's a sarcastic remark, an opinion, a comment, a concern. We are going to be picking a random comment once in a while and selecting them for a free month of the premium trading group. Whatever you do, make sure to join us in the Discord. Discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com is the place to stay up to date. And again, community is very, very important if you want to grow as a trader. Other than that, if you guys would like to join our premium trading group and take advantage of all of our products and services, everything that we offer, make sure to check out the link at the top of the description, premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com, or our general website, crackingcryptocurrency.com, for everything that we offer. All of the information and links and things that we talked about, discussed, touched upon, laughed about, cried about, made money on, lost money on, they'll be in the description down below. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Big shout outs to everybody who helped put together today's show, the entire Cracking Cryptocurrency team. And remember, guys, at the end of the day, it's risk management and emotional discipline that pay the bills consistently at the end of every month for me and every other professional trader out there. So keep that at your forefront. And again, it's easy to get obsessed with the charts. Make sure to always take time to appreciate what you're really doing in life, okay? The reason why you're trading in the first place. All right, guys, trade safely. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.